Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for October 17th, 2021 from Psalm chapter 78, Remembering God, Part 2. Previously we heard in this psalm that the people had forgotten what God had done for them. So this psalm was used to teach and to remind the people. But when people forget about God, God does get a little bit of upset, so to speak, and wants to bring the people back. So the psalmist continues, verse 21, Therefore, when the Lord heard, he was full of wrath. A fire was kindled against Jacob. His anger rose against Israel because they did not believe in God and did not trust his saving power. Verse 23, Yet he commanded the skies above and opened the doors of heaven, and he rained down on them manna to eat and gave them the grain of heaven. Wow. Even in the people's rebellion, God still is taking care of them. God is still providing for them, even when people are speaking out against God. However, there's going to be a limit to this. Verse 25, Man ate of the bread of the angels. He sent them food in abundance. He caused the east wind to blow in the heavens, and by his power he let out the south wind. Verse 27, He rained meat on them like dust, winged birds like the sand of the seas. He let them fall in the midst of their camp, all around their dwellings. Verse 29, And they ate and were well filled, for he gave them what they craved. But before they had satisfied their craving, while the food was still in their mouths, the anger of God rose against them, and he killed the strongest of them and laid low the young men of Israel. Why again did God's anger come upon them while God was blessing them? The answer, as the psalmist continues in verse 32, in spite of all this, they still sinned. Despite his wonders, they did not believe. So he made their days vanish like a breath, and their years in terror. God is going to give us many blessings. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, are we going to remember God or not? So God uses his anger. And as the psalmist notes, verse 34, when he killed them, they sought him. They repented and sought God earnestly. They remembered that God was their rock, the Most High God, their Redeemer. God doesn't like to use his anger, but God doesn't want people to fall away either. But what happens after the people do repent? Verse 36, But when they flattered him with their mouths, they lied to him with their tongues. Their heart was not steadfast toward him. They were not faithful to his covenant. After the people repented, they soon fell away again. So what is God to do? Verse 38, Yet he, being compassionate, atoned for their iniquity and did not destroy them. He restrained his anger often and did not stir up all his wrath. He remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passes and comes not again. Verse 40, How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. They tested God again and again and provoked the Holy One of Israel. Join me again tomorrow for a special confirmation edition. And then on Tuesday, as we continue with Psalm chapter 78, Remembering God. God's peace and many blessings be with you. And thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for watching.